Hello and welcome to Destined 2Evolve Wellness. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I have to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. You will hear from them and everything they do next. And then Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Renell Jump, former teammate and friend. They are the tax masters. They offer a variety of services, but they specialize in tax planning for businesses to save you money. They will save you money, or they will put more money back in your pocket with even a surprise refund. You never know. For your free strategic tax session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Thank you. And now for the lady of the hour, who I haven't seen in a week.
I know.
Former UConn All-American and Olympian, Bethany Hart Gerry, health and wellness coach, and an entrepreneur who is opening BFT, also known as Body Fitness, right?
Bodyfit training.
Bodyfit.
We're almost there. BFT.
I can't even get it right. Bodyfit training. So that has got to be an adventure on its own.
Yeah.
You were talking to your partners and you guys made the decision to go with this. I'm assuming that you looked at probably some other businesses before settling on this one, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. What else were you considering or was in the mix?
So this actually is a little bit more my husband's project as well as mine. He's hoping someday to be able to put more time into something he's passionate about.
Sure, we all are.
Exactly. Which, it's great. So we partnered with friends of his and mine that we know from a gym that we've been going to.
Right.
They've been working out together for 9 years and always kind of wanted to go into business together. So they had done a lot of the legwork. Me having my own Destined 2Evolve Wellness personal training and health business. I was kind of doing my own thing for the last 5 years, all virtual, mostly virtual coaching, getting myself out of the gym setting. And they had looked at, I can't remember honestly what other ones they looked at because they did all the research. Yeah. And then
but they knew they wanted something.
They knew they wanted fitness for sure. Yeah. And then it was just a matter of what model, because there's so many out there, right? We know that. And what we loved about Bodyfit training is their progressive programming model. So a lot of group fitness is high intensity, right. Yep. All the time, totally correct. Varied. No, you're in there, which is great. Like people love the variety, but it can be really hard to track progress. And we know we've got different systems, right? We've got different energy systems. We've got different muscle fiber types, and a lot of group strength training programs only focus in one.
Yeah, they don't work for everyone, right?
And they don't. It's not balanced between a strength component and a conditioning component. And for some of them, going multiple days a week can be really hard on the body.
It's challenging, yes.
And you're not getting the recovery you need. There's overuse injuries and all that kind of stuff. So what we loved about Bodyfit training is that they do 8 to 10 week progressive. Remember when we used to lift in college and you would do like progressive training, right? From week 1 to week 10.
Yes, it would change.
Yeah, yes. Lifts and different percentages and the intensities.
Reps, then low reps. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Which is very unique to find in a group setting.
Jerry Martin.
Yeah, right. And so this is a Bodyfit training is out of Australia. There's over 300 studios open worldwide, and one of the guy who founded it really wanted a fitness model that was accessible to all fitness levels and abilities in a group setting.
Right.
and with that balance of strength work and conditioning. So we've got a strength focus. We've got 14 different program types. 5 are strength biased, 5 are cardio biased, and then 4 are hybrid. And then within those 8 to 10 week progressions, which go right into the next to the next, you have a specific focus, and they're taking different ones, all of those 14 program types to come up with that progressive programming. So,
yeah, I think that's so important, because if you do the same program, it's just redundant after a while.
Right.
You know, you're doing the same lifts, the same conditioning. It's redundant and it's not interesting.
And you're not really building lean muscle mass in a lot of these models, which is what we know is like such a huge aspect of aging gracefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Muscle mass.
Absolutely. So is a friend of mine, Warren Spivey, who I played with, he is down in Manhattan. They do this Midtown biohack. And it's kind of like ahead of its time situation, where you go in and you train once a week for 30 minutes. They cover everything, and that's it. And he showed me videos, and I was just kind of shocked to see how well it worked. Is this a situation where people can come once or twice a week and see results?
You definitely can see results doing anything, right? The results will be slower.
Sure.
And depending on what workouts they're hitting, you can certainly see progress. One of the best things about the model is that you could come more days a week.
Right.
And you wouldn't overtrain, because you're going to hit like a hard strength, a lighter strength, a mixed cardio, high intensity or low intensity, some recovery work, some foundational, core building. So
you do have recovery work built in.
Yes, exactly. So the idea is we want to move more days than just one, obviously.
Right, of course.
But part of the struggle with some programs out there is you go 3-4 times a week and you're burnt out. It gets monotonous. You get those overuse injuries depending on what you're doing.
What's the subscription model? Is it monthly? Is it yearly? Is it like 3 months? How are you structuring that?
So we're month to month.
Oh, you're monthly. Okay.
It's month to month. No long-term contracts. I think after COVID, I think the industry standard is now like 30-day cancellation policy with, I don't know if you have to offer a monthly model, but a
lot of places do.
Yeah. And we do have, once we're open, we'll have a lot more variability. Right now we're in pre-sale. So we're doing a founding membership, which of all of the different programs we offer for, coming 2 times a month, 3 times a month, class packs. We have a 5-pack and a 10-pack. The founding membership, 25% off is our best rate right now. So
right.
It's kind of fluid with the different options.
And people can sign up by, is it going to the website that you have? If people want to sign up now to get that.
So typically they can go to the website and they'll fill out a form, and one of us will get in touch.
We'll reach them. Okay.
Yeah. So Carrie and I, the other owner, she and I are doing a lot of the calls we want to find out, like, what are people's goals? What are they working on? Are we a good fit for them? Like, I'm not here to sell you a membership you're never going to come and use.
Right.
Like, we're totally not the hard sell people, which may or may not be our best business effort.
No, it is. I mean, right? when you push people, there's times when no means yes, and there's times when no means like no.
Right. Like, I don't want to break people's bank and like force them into buying a membership that they can't afford. Right. So Carrie and I we were like terrified to be on the quote unquote sales side of things, but we've realized like we're just having conversations with people. Like, what are your goals? What are you working on? What are you currently doing? Are you happy with what you're doing? Is it helping you reach your goals? Here's who we are at BFT. Yeah. This is what
you're getting information and you're educating them.
Yeah. Educating, bringing brand awareness, how we're different. And if we are a good fit for the goals that they have, and if it's a good fit and they want to take advantage of the pre-sale right now or a membership at any time, we try to once we're open and we have more membership options, we certainly can, accommodate if people can only come once a week and they want to do a class pack type thing.
Right. So, I mean, that sounds amazing that you're doing all that. You are superwoman for everything that you're managing in your life right now with, opening the new business, keeping your business running.
It's a lot. I'm not going to lie.
Your kids. Yeah.
Kids, having family. Oh, it's a lot. But I think back to like my competitive days and managing all of the different aspects of training,
the time management,
right? It's different, right? It just takes different skills to manage businesses, and some of those skill sets I don't have, or they aren't that strong. So it's kind of
right.
And even with kids, God, that's a learning curve every friggin' day.
Right. That was one of kind of the top questions that we got from mothers, as far as California to Michigan, wanted to know about organization and scheduling. How do you put together your daily schedule and keep things organized, making time for yourself, making time for your husband, making time for your kids? That was a big concern.
Yeah, and it is a concern. I do my best, and I'll be honest, like I'm not the best at it, and I certainly struggle. That being said, we just do our best. I think communication is key. My husband and I, we do struggle to find time for each other. We're both burning the candle at both ends because he works full-time in corporate alongside trying to help with the business, doing what he can. He's stepped in huge, helping with making dinners, which that's typically my thing. I don't think I've cooked in the last 3 weeks, and he's just like, don't worry, I've got it. We talk about the mental load of motherhood, and that speaks to all of the tasks you have to manage with meals, right? For example, you have to make sure you grocery shop for all the items that you need. You have to plan what meals are being made and figuring out like, what does everybody want to eat? And so my husband, we got to a point at one point where he would maybe have to make dinner. And he's like, well, what am I making? And I'm like, I don't know, just like think of something. But we had a conversation at one point, and I was like, here's the thing. I can't, like, don't be afraid to just do whatever you think.
Whatever you want, right.
Yeah. You don't have to ask my permission. So he's gotten that memo. He's started doing the laundry. Because again, that was something that I had taken on, but without even being asked.
Right.
He started doing the laundry on Sundays, and I was like, this is awesome. So those kind of things. So we just communicate. He and I, when it comes to our relationship,
that's so great.
The communication is the most imperative. And same thing with the kids. There's moments I'm on my phone in the middle of the afternoon after I get home from school, when that's time I really want to be spending with them. And I just communicate to them like, I know you don't have my undivided attention right now, and I'm sorry. I've got to do this one thing. But then I try to really make an effort to make time to carve out for them somewhere else. But it's fluid and flexible. We talk a lot about flexibility in our house, because I could have a schedule set every day, but something typically derails.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I do have I'm a paper planner person. I have tried, Steve. Do you have a planner?
Calendar? No, I don't have a planner. I try to use my calendar.
In your phone?
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I know. It's tough to do. I just like every podcast I try, hey, give me the date. I'll send you a calendar invite, and I try to schedule it that way. So I don't write it down. So
is it all in your brain?
No, I really do use my calendar. I put it in my calendar, and I get their email. I send them the calendar invite, and then I'll create a link and send them a link.
Yeah.
Like I've done, a couple Husky talks this week. I had Razul Wallace on, and same thing. I just send them the calendar invite. We plan the day. Usually Sunday is when I'll plan them, and then I'll put everything in the calendar. And then you have
a system.
And then we have our set shows like with you, which is typically Friday. Laban Marsh is usually Thursday. Wednesday we do Husky Hoops. Tuesday I'm with Maria. And Mondays, we do Husky Huddle. And
That's awesome.
Today we do Husky Huddle too. And then I sprinkle in all the Husky talks in between.
Perfect. Yeah. And I think developing a system that works for you. I mean, so many people are like, you've got to do do the virtual calendar, Google, Apple, whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I keep trying, but I have like 4 calendars, and then I'm synced with Tom. I'm synced with our business partners.
Because you got that I could never do.
I can't function
when you got to separate them. When like the purple colors work and the green colors personal, and they have different colors for your different aspects of life.
Yeah, I can't deal with it. So my organizational strategy is I've got my paper planner.
You got like a daily planner.
Yeah, it has the whole week laid out on one page.
That's like my mother does.
About how my calendar looks. And then I just do my best to, and again, like I could certainly do better, but like, carving out chunks when I see clients, and then in between, I've got times that I'm, working on either the BFT business or the Destined 2Evolve wellness business. And then I do try to stop. I don't usually see clients after 2:00. Unless I'm doing like a workshop or something in the evening. Because I do want, part of the flexibility of owning my own business was to
That's what you want. Yeah.
Because I wanted to be able to go to after school activities, and I knew like I'd be driving my kids to sports and things. So accommodating that. And I'm thankful and grateful that I have the flexibility to be able to do that. So yeah, staying organized is a huge challenge. I can't say I'm the best at it, but I think being forgiving of myself in that way to accept that, as best as I could have planned a day, something's going to derail it, and it's okay. Like, I have to be flexible.
Yes.
It's really hard because motherhood is just all about unpredictability, and having some predictability would be
there's going to be fires that you got to put out 100%.
But yeah, I just do my best. And if one strategy is not working, I try to figure something else out. And there are sacrifices.
100%.
I honestly don't get to the gym as much as I want to right now, but trying to launch a business is a huge undertaking. And, we've got a lot riding on that. So it's where I want to put my efforts right now, but I know that it's a short-term sacrifice for the long-term gain.
And I know that, the girl that I may or may not be seeing, Kelly, she has the same type of situations where, because she's a mental health therapist, counselor, and she says, just a long day, she'll see 6 people in a day, which I think is crazy. And she'll come home at 6:00 and she'll just stare at the wall.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing. Like sometimes she'll just forget to eat. She'll forget to eat lunch.
Yes.
She'll forget to grocery shop, dinner, getting the laundry done. I try to help her and soup cat litter when I can.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I contribute where I can.
Partner.
I've tried to help with food. I won't cook, but I'll order something. I'll order something out. But it's the same thing. It's just you gotta have to keep your household running because there's so many aspects to that.
There are.
And then you throw kids into the mix.
Yeah. It's a different challenge.
I mean, now you got to tend to their needs. Now they got to do their homework. You got to give them a bath. I mean, there's so much that goes into it.
So much.
And it's amazing. You're gonna be running 2 businesses. You're going to be a mother of 2 children, and you're someone's wife. Yeah. So your time is valuable.
Yeah. And that too is being able to pivot and shift, right? So
100%.
Meals, for instance, I had a routine. And routines, when you can have the routines that you have is really important. I'm great at, my grocery shopping every week, my grocery shopping list. And we had like a standard set of, I like to grocery plan instead of meal plan. So I just have my staples on hand. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, I have a general idea of like, okay, Monday, we're going to do this, Taco Tuesday, I get the protein. and I have the sides on hand, either in the pantry, the freezer, the fridge. And then I can throw something together and plan ahead. But I also have like a backup plan if all goes to hell. And I'm like, and we're winging it tonight. So
here we go.
Night. Like, eat whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I've realized recently, as I get to the end of the week and I go to grocery shop again, like all my proteins are still in there because I've not cooked. So they opened a Trader Joe's near us recently. Have you been to Trader Joe's?
Just get the cookie butter. That's all I say. I just love the cookie butter. It's the greatest thing on earth.
Trader Joe's, where do I find that?
It's like peanut butter. It would be in like the peanut butter section.
I think I've seen that, Steve. Do you just eat it straight out the jar?
Sadly, I do, but
you didn't want to admit that, did you?
No,
I saw you hesitate.
You're supposed to put it on crackers. You're supposed to put it on crackers and bread and whatever. I'll just grab a spoon and eat it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I thought you were supposed to do.
It's the greatest thing on earth. It's the greatest thing on earth.
No, I'm going to have to get that.
Yes, please do. Please do and eat it.
I have seen it, but I've never gotten it. Okay, so I'm adding that to the list this week. Have you seen they have these teeny little chocolate chip cookies?
Yes.
They're literally like teeny. They're so adorable, and like a handful of those, delicious. But they have in the freezer section and actually in the fridge, they've got some great pre-prepared proteins that are delicious that I like. I'm kind of a plain, like, grill some chicken.
Yeah.
Make a burger, right? Like do some taco meat. But they have like this chicken salsa verde is delicious in the fridge section. There's a chicken teriyaki. We buy a couple bags of those. Do that for dinner. They have like bags of rice you can steam. I don't actually steam it in the bag because I don't think you can cook it in plastic.
No.
Personally. But so we've been leaning really hard right now. And so again, like I just had to pivot. I was like, okay, I'm not cooking these proteins every week. So instead of
you're saving time. I mean,
so instead of trying to make it like it's like putting a square peg in a round hole sometimes.
Absolutely.
Instead of just being like, let's find a different way to do it.
You have a question from Irene from Grafton, who says she loves you. She was in high school when you were there, and she just thinks you're adorable and loves the show. Her question is, she has two questions. Okay. The first is, how can I manage my stress effectively? Because she feels obviously that she goes off the rails, and she described the mommy volcano like you did, and she wanted just some tips for managing her stress because obviously with kids it's a lot to deal with.
It is a lot to deal with. I think figuring out the root of where the stress is coming from, and then what you can control and what you can't control.
Right. That makes sense.
We know stress comes from our children, but we can't control them.
No, we can't.
But stress comes from work, and we can't necessarily stop working, right? So depending on where the stress is coming from, trying to figure out where the stress is coming from, what triggers there are. For me, it was recognizing the triggers. For me, it was kind of the timing of the week. Like I actually was really good at the beginning of the week of keeping my stress to a minimum.
Right.
And then by the end of the week, it was like, no holds barred. I have nothing left to give. And so then it became managing my time earlier in the week so that I had some gas left in the tank by the end of the week.
Right.
So that might have looked like making different choices depending on what I was committing to outside of things that I had to do. That makes
a lot of sense. And her other question is, how can I improve my mental health well-being? She just, I guess, apparently struggles with stress, anxiety, daily pivots like you are having. And, she is concerned about her mental health. She's in therapy, but it's just for herself, I guess, being at home on her own, if, having some feelings, what are some things you would recommend to do to help her mental health?
Well, I love that she's seeing a therapist. I think can be so helpful to have that outlet. For me, it comes with the stress management piece. A lot of it's about the nervous system. And we've talked a little bit about this before with the upstairs brain and the downstairs brain.
Mm-hmm.
So just as a refresher, that upstairs brains are calm, thinking, rational brain where we make good choices generally.
For the most
and then
part,
the downstairs brain is that fight or flight mode, survival mode. And that's reactive. We don't make good choices there. We're just reacting to things around us. We're more impulsive and not really clearly thinking. And motherhood, life in general for anybody really is about balancing out the nervous system, because we're going to hit survival mode at some point in time. It's just inevitable. We're going to have a stress response to things. It's normal. When we live there and we can't get back into the calm, rest and digest upstairs brain is when we have a lot of those mental health struggles.
Yes.
This part of what my struggle was, where I just was living in my downstairs brain all the time.
All the time.
Right. And you're constantly overwhelmed, and then you're not sleeping well, and then you're exhausted. And then
that's exactly what you said. Overwhelmed. Yeah.
And then every little thing's a trigger, and it doesn't take much to ramp you off.
And then you're gone.
Then you're gone.
Races.
Exactly. So we talk about the mind-body budget and balancing the mind-body budget, which is like your financial bank of your body and your brain.
A good analogy.
Is if you trying to figure out like what deposits are you making and what withdrawals are you making, right? We make withdrawals a lot more than we make deposits.
Correct.
So it's going to vary for each person in terms of what helps rebuild that body, like gives you more balance in that mind body budget or helps your nervous system. And I think going to therapy, having that outlet is important.
Yes.
Just kind of evaluating like where are you draining from and what things usually recharge you that you're not doing, or because we tend to do too much, I think, in life.
Oh, like always.
Constantly doing, right? So what things, but it depends on the person. I'm an introvert, so I need my downtime. I need my sleep in Sundays till 10 a.m. I need my choir night. That's just me. And my husband has to, he manages the house that night. I need those downtime things where extrovert people who are feeling isolated in motherhood might need the outlet of going out, of being around friends, of being around, social circles that support them. So I think determining what helps replenish you and then figuring out how can you take away some of those withdrawals? How can you minimize the withdrawals that you can control? And what replenishers can you add into the mind body budget to bring that nervous system to a place where you don't have that mental, emotional.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Do you have set nights, or do you even have the time? Like if you and your husband want to go out and meet a friend for dinner and be able to do that, is that available? Like, do you make time for that, or is that something you don't even care to do?
So it's funny. Both my husband and I, we're both kind of homebodies.
Yeah. Okay.
So we don't have a huge social need, but around the holidays when friends are having parties or we get an invite out, we do try to take advantage of it when we can, because we do recognize okay, we haven't been out in a while. We really should do something. Right. But I think for us personally, we'll do date night late on a Saturday night. We'll, rent a movie or whatever.
Right. I got you.
Just have some downtime that way, because we both have that introverted homebody tendency. Yeah,
you don't want to be. You don't need to get all dressed up and go out and.
Yeah, I don't mind getting dressed up every now and again, but we both recharge better with downtime. Yeah.
So, with BFT, is the construction currently going on at the building and that at the site? Okay,
construction is going on. We're not giving a hard and fast date, because if anybody's ever been involved in construction, that there's. It's a nightmare sometimes.
A lot of delays. Yeah. Well, I know people that have fired 3 construction companies. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it can be a project trying to get the right one and then trying to get them to do the job.
Well,
like,
and there's a lot
when are you going
of,
to show up?
well, because you're dealing with a landlord, and then we actually had to have they had work to do in the space before they give it to us. So, and then they've got their construction contractors who then have to communicate with the architect, and then they have to communicate with the other GC, right? So there's so many moving pieces, and it's like,
to get it done. Yeah.
One of our partners, my Carrie, her husband, is our point person on some of the construction stuff because he's just got the brain for it. Because he works in that kind of genre, and so he gets it. So he's been really helpful in trying to manage, like, make sure everybody's talked to the right person and everyone's on the same page, because it's just a lot of moving pieces. But we're aiming for spring
because it's your location, right? You're in a. Is it a plaza that you're in?
It's we're in a plaza. So for people around, it's in Franklin, Massachusetts.
Yes, Franklin Village or whatever.
Village. Yep, it's a huge plaza. There's a Stop and Shop, of Marshalls. It's like a 3-sided, gigantic plaza. So we're going to be right in the plaza. So
okay,
and construction's underway. So we're just trying to move along.
And the expectations are sometime this summer. And
spring, not summer. Spring.
Sorry, the spring. We don't want to go to summer.
We don't want to go to summer.
The spring. And you're doing several different things to promote it. And the people, anyone interested, can DM or contact you. They can go to the website. And they'll get called by you. And they'll
Instagram. I think Instagram right now is our biggest.
Yes, I've seen your video.
A lot of traction on Instagram. It's BFT Franklin Village.
Yep, I saw that.
You can follow us there. There's a link in our bio that you can fill out, or we've been talking to a lot of people in the DMs over there, or they can fill out the form in the link in bio, and we'll reach out and answer any questions that people have and give them all the details.
Okay. I have to mention our other sponsors. We have Dynamic Human Performance, owned and operated by Andre Dixon, legendary UConn running back. You will hear from him next. And then we have the Finch firm, Peter Finch. He is your man. He's one of the best attorneys around in Bridgeport, Connecticut. You will also hear from him. And then we have the Trench Mob, which is run by Julius Williams in Decatur, Georgia. He trains offensive and defensive linemen. He has some camps coming up. The first one is in Miami, February 23rd at 10 a.m. We have something from him for you as well. And newly joined is Ned Von Young, a.k.a. Fresh. He played football with us. He opened Fresh Fold Laundry Company. Now, this place is in North Carolina, and it's absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it. It's ahead of its time. They have an online service where you can go and make an appointment, and you'll have machines ready for you. They offer a subscription service, which is weekly or bi-weekly, and they wash, fold, and dry your laundry in record time. It's just absolutely incredible. Fresh just opened the business last week, and the weather wasn't great. So they're doing another launch this week since the weather's a little bit better. They're in North Carolina, so when they get blasted with snow, they don't know how to handle it like we do up north. So their website is www.freshfold-laundry.com. I got it right this time. I didn't screw it up. Okay. Go there. You can see all the different services they offer. You can sign up for any online appointments. And if you want a subscription, it's an incredible model they have. So that's Ned Von Young. So he's our newest sponsor. So for Bethany, I know you have a lot going on. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I hope that everything goes well, and just keep churning. I mean, your people are rooting for you.
Thank you. We're in grind mode right now, so we're just
you're the boss
running.
they call you the boss girl, the boss woman. They like it. You know, a woman entrepreneur. We need more of them, and that's exactly what you're doing, and you're also promoting health and wellness, which is essential to your quality of life.
Yes, so, absolutely. Good mission.
So for Bethany Hart Gerry, BFT owner, Destined to Evolve wellness owner, former UConn All-American and Olympian, I am Steve Cully, just the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at